This is CRE 2024 from Milton Keynes. I'm Chris from Monkey Nut, and I'm delighted to be joined by Mike from the Open Bible Trust. Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you? All right?
I'm really well, thank you.
Good.
You're here at CRE 2024.
Yep.
Tell us, how has CRE been for you this year?
It was very busy this morning, but it sort of went a bit quiet just after lunchtime. And then they started picking up, and then I had to come and talk to you.
Oh, well, they're having your sandwiches probably. I think that's what I would do too.
Yeah.
But you're enjoying CRE. Have you been to CRE before?
Oh, yeah, we've been coming to CRE for 15 years at least.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. And what do you get out of coming to CRE?
Well, two things really. One is you meet new contacts, and two, you consolidate old contacts. So the last person I saw before coming to you was a person who's come to see us every year for those 15 years.
Oh, wow. It's nice to make reconnections, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about the Open Bible Trust. For anybody that hasn't heard of it before, tell us what it does.
Well, this is our 40th year now. We started in 1984, where 8 young men, I was young in those days, right, who had met on Christian holidays from different parts of the country, different denominations. And we were concerned that Bible study was going down in our churches. Almost it was being taken over by daily reading notes. Now, nothing wrong with daily reading notes, but they don't really take people on to the next stage. And that's what we wanted to do, is produce material, a magazine, books, booklets, which took people a little deeper into the Bible. Because there's great big tomes, in the expositing the Greek text, but many people can't access that. So that's what we've been doing for 40 years. And as well as publishing books, booklets, we now have a YouTube channel with 320 odd YouTube Bible study YouTubes. And about 3 years ago, we started a podcast channel.
Oh, wow. So you're really spreading the message. You're keeping up with how life is evolving, really, and spreading the message of the gospel.
Yeah. And I mean, we can thank, if you like, that we got into YouTubes and into podcasts from my daughter and my son, who are much younger and into those things. And my daughter in particular loves listening to podcasts. And she said, Dad, the Open Bible Trust ought to do some Bible study podcasts. So we did that.
Nice. And I think that was my question, actually, because I think a lot of people would have maybe come along to a Bible study in some form, and they tend to be that older generation because that's how they've been. That's probably how they were at school. That's how they've moved through life. And when they go to church, they attend a Bible study and they get deeper. How are you trying to attract? You've already said that you're doing podcasts, but how are you trying to get people into Bible study groups in that younger demographic? Is it tricky?
It is tricky. We do publish some materials for younger people, discussion materials as well for younger people. But one of the problems with today, because all our books are on Amazon and people can download Amazon ebooks or Amazon KDP paperbacks, and on Apple iBooks, we have a lot of our stuff there. And we sell an incredible number of things through those media, but we don't know the people. We don't know the demographic of those people. We don't know how many are young or old or anything. So we're just trying to witness to people. But like many of us older ones, our desire is, how can we get through to younger people?
It's a tricky one. I think that's something that a lot of churches struggle with.
Yeah.
How are churches dealing with it? Are they coming to you and trying to find answers?
Well, some people come. I mean, I'm chairman of Churches Together in Reading, lots of people in Reading know me, and they do discuss this with me, and I do give some ideas, and how good those ideas are. Well, I don't know. You try things, and sometimes things work, and sometimes they don't work. And I have said the only thing God cannot bless is if you do nothing. If you do something, He may or He may not, but you've got to do something. You just can't sit back and do nothing, or keep doing things the way you've always done them. That won't work in a modern society.
No, and I guess it's really good that you're trying to keep up with that modern society. If you were to jump back to those 8 men on holiday all those years ago. Do you think you ever envisaged it getting as big as it has today?
Nowhere did we think we'd have. I mean, we have agents in Australia and Canada and America and New Zealand, but I mean, one of the things you do get from some of these companies like Amazon, you don't get the names of individuals, but you get where they come from. So we have stuff sold in China and India and Japan and South America. And I mean, last year, we normally expected the big sales to be in America, Britain, Australia, Canada. Well, last year, number 3 was France.
That's not a particularly Christian country either. So that's
No.
interesting that's growing for you.
Yeah, we were really surprised because we don't produce anything in French, but they're obviously latching on to some of the stuff that we do.
I was going to say, do you have anything in other languages, or is it primarily English?
We do have one in German, we have a couple in Spanish, and I know quite a number have been translated into Russian and are circulated in Russia, but we can't get the information out of Russia, sorry.
And now you mentioned it's your 40th year very, very soon. And a word that I'm going to bring up, which I know is very important to you, is the word unity.
Yeah.
Tell me why that's important to you, Mike.
Well, the 8 of us years ago were 8 young men from different parts of the country and from different denominations because we wanted to work together. And on this 40th year, the trustees asked me to write a book on unity. Well, I thought, I'm not going to write it by myself. So I got a colleague, one of the 8, to write it with me. And when it was reviewed by one person, he says, if a Scottish Baptist and a Welsh Salvationist can write a book on unity and have the cover designed by an English Anglican, there is hope for unity in the church, right? And unity is right. And unity doesn't mean uniformity. You know, we're all different as individuals. We like different music. You know, Christian music, secular music, we like different music. People like different translations of the Bible. You know, people, even different theologies may be important because some people think differently to other people. So we need different approaches in theology. And my theology may be different to yours. But if we believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, we are one in the Spirit. And Christ says about the unity of the Spirit, we have to guard it like a soldier guards. That's what we have to do. And we have to bear with one another in love. And you only have to bear with people who disagree with you.
That is so true, isn't it? It's so, so true. Mike, if anybody wants to find out more about the Open Bible Trust and want to find out more about you or the team, where should they go online?
Well, they can go online and just look up the Open Bible Trust. And it'll come up on Google or whatever search engine you use. And then you just click on that. I mean, I could give you our website address, but it's easier just to go and look for the Open Bible Trust.
Do give us the Bible address, just in case.
Okay, it's www.obt.org.uk.
obt.org.uk.
That's it.
Mike, thank you so much for telling us all about the Open Bible Trust. And if you've enjoyed listening to Mike and you want to check out more of what's happening at CRE, make sure you go to the website. It's creonline.co.uk.